2, 3, 4.
The most important part of building a lasting team is the same as the most important part of building a lasting marriage: selection. So what do you look for? What's in the selection? You need to understand what the values are. Values and identity drive behavior. Once you realize that, then you know what to look for. You're looking for people that already have the kinds of values and self-identity that your team has, so that they can come in and begin to contribute to the culture, if nothing else. So maybe they don't have the skill set, that's fine, that can be taught, people can learn that. And if learning a new skill set is something that's incredibly important to your team, if you want it to be a lasting team, you need to make sure that one of the values that you share with that person that you're evaluating for that team is a willingness to learn. I believe the one universal to building a lasting team is a growth mindset. If somebody doesn't have a growth mindset, they're not going to be able to help anybody, because they are self-sabotaging their own mind. They will trip up projects out of insecurity. They will argue for dumb ideas simply because they're there and their ego is built around being smart, and they think that they're only as smart right in that moment as they're ever going to be, and there's nothing else. And so going into a situation that challenges their intellect makes them insecure, makes them want to back off, which means they're not going to push, they're not going to drive. So if you've got a team that needs to accomplish something, like for real accomplish something, not bullshit, not pretend, but honestly, we've got a goal and we are marching towards it and we are going to do it, then you need to pick people with a growth mindset. Simple as. That is the one fundamental thing. Now beyond that, there's 3 things that I look for. These are personal. This isn't necessarily going to be what you're going to look for. But what I look for is grand ambition. I want to have the guts to look at the biggest problems we face as a society, and I want to say that's my problem to solve. Not anybody else's, my problem. Why? Because I know that the fundamental building block to true and lasting happiness is becoming something. To set a goal and to pursue it. To progress. Now, if that's the very most fundamental building block of our survival as a species, our ability to adapt, change, grow, progress, go into an environment and take control, then you've got to know that nature's going to reward that behavior with a feeling of well-being to make sure that you do more of it. So ingrained in us is this desire to have these grand ambitions. So one of the most universal things that I find in people is a dream. But they don't necessarily have the second thing I look for, and that's drive. Now, people define drive a lot of different ways. I define it very, very simply. Drive is the gritty, hustler willingness to fight through the pain, to acquire the skills that you currently lack in order to become the person you need to be, in order to accomplish the goal that you've set for yourself. To have the grit to see things through. When it gets hard, to get back up. When the fight turns ugly and you feel like shit and you've lost over and over and over, to be able to rekindle that enthusiasm and march forward. That's drive. When you've got drive, you know you need to get better. You want to get better. You've got a hunger in your belly that nobody can feed for you. And the hunger feels good. The hunger makes you feel alive. You want. You desire. You burn with something. There's a chip on your shoulder. You've got something to prove. You are going to make something of yourself, if to prove it to yourself, if nobody else. I don't think most people have that. And I don't think most people want it. And I think that's completely reasonable. I'm not saying that these answers are for everybody. I'm just saying they're the truth for me. The third thing I look for is the balancing force of the first 2. Because if you have somebody with grand ambition and drive, oftentimes they lose sight of one of the most beautiful parts of the human experience, and that's connection. I want to connect. And so I'm looking for people with compassion. I'm looking for people that want to be a team. I'm looking for people that can enjoy their teammates' contributions as much as they want their own contributions recognized. When someone can be both cheerleader and receptor of cheer, That's when amazing things happen, because you don't have people that are greedy for the attention. You don't have people that are greedy for the accolades. You have somebody that is as quick to give love, appreciation, to highlight somebody that's doing a great job, to point out somebody that had a brilliant idea and to celebrate them for that brilliant idea and not have it be a knock to their own self-esteem because it wasn't their idea, but to be legitimately and authentically excited for their friend. That shit is cool to me. I love that. It makes me feel connected. It makes me feel cared for. It makes me feel like I'm a part of something bigger than myself. It makes me feel like I'm fighting for and with other people. And that, to me, man, to miss out on that, to be so focused on yourself that you don't see the opportunity to build something with other people, that is one of the greatest tragedies I can imagine for a human being. We are social creatures. We long to connect, man. I can't think of anything more amazing than love. I can't. Like, I know that sounds super fucking cheesy, but honestly, the most potent thing in my life is my wife. And why? Because we've shared this experience. The one thing you can never substitute is a shared life. It's the only thing that has to happen in real time. And if time is our most precious commodity, then sharing some massive amount of time has got to be the most valuable thing that we could do with somebody. And that doesn't just apply to your wife. To me, it applies to your team, whatever kind of team you're building. Connecting with that team over time is one of the most meaningful things that you can do, because it feels awesome. It feels awesome to know that a group of people care about you. They want for your well-being and they're willing to fight for you. To not have that would be devastating. So, the key to building a team that lasts: share values, have a shared identity that you guys reinforce, hold each other to a standard so that it means something to be a part of your group. Your group should stand for something that you're all willing to fight for, and then be connected to each other, be real, be authentic, and value the other people's contributions to the team. That's super important, man. In any relationship, you've got to know that the other people are as valuable as you are. And the moment you think somehow, just because it's your perspective, that it's better, you'll never be able to build a lasting team. Everybody in a relationship has to be treated as equals, otherwise you're gonna have a problem.